All right, you guys, welcome back. Today is day 2 of our Take Your Time Back week. And today we're talking about ditching the back and forth with automated call booking calendars. Now, there are a few reasons why we really want to make sure we have one of these. So most of you guys are probably booking calls, whether it's coffee chats or whether it's sales calls, whether it's kickoff calls with your clients, strategy calls, whatever you want to call them. Maybe you have calls that you have that are one-to-one with your clients. Once they get into the program, we call them back pocket calls. So you might have all kinds of different calls that are going on inside of your business. And I promise you, you will save so much time if you don't have to go back and forth every single time someone wants to book a call to try to figure out when it's going to work. So, of course, when you send a link with a call booking calendar, it looks more professional. So there's that. Then, of course, we don't want to waste time doing this back and forth thing. Sometimes people send you a message, you send them back, they don't check it for hours, they come back to you later, you're not there, whatever it is, right? Or you go back and forth and everything you suggest doesn't work for them and vice versa. And it's just this whole, waste of time, honestly. So we don't need to do that, right? What we want to do is we want to have really simple call booking calendar links. And what I'd actually recommend is that you guys have different calendar links for every type of call you have. So you might have one calendar link for coffee chat type of calls. These are connection calls. These are calls where you are just, checking in with somebody. Maybe you're just getting to know somebody. So it's not a sales call. It's more of a connection call. You're getting to know someone. So you might have a call booking link for that. Then you would have a call booking link for your sales calls, okay? Then you would also have a call booking link for your onboarding calls, your strategy calls once your clients are inside of your program. And then you might also have a separate link for calls that your clients can use. Like I said, we call them back pocket calls. These are shorter. So the strategy or onboarding or kickoff call, whatever you want to call that one, is probably longer, 60 to 90 minutes. But then later in the program, when people have a chance to book calls one-to-one with us, it's half an hour. So we want to make sure we have a separate link for that. Now, why do we have to have separate links? Well, there's a few things. One is when you create a call booking calendar, you can also actually ask questions. Most softwares will allow you to do this. So you can ask some questions. Some are limited, some you can ask, unlimited questions. It depends. It depends maybe if you're paying or if you're not. But you want to have this opportunity to ask questions. So if you were going to be asking questions for somebody who is looking to join your program, those would be different than somebody who's just looking to connect with you, right? Which would be different from people who have already joined your program and are starting with a strategy call, or even different from the calls that they're going to be doing with you later on that are sort of midway through the program. So this way you can actually customize the questions that you can ask them before the call happens. And that's also going to help you prepare, right? So when you know what the answers to those questions are, it's going to be a lot easier for you to go into the call ready. And on top of that, it's a really great way to show people that you care, that you took the time to actually look at the questionnaire, right? That you took the time to read what they said and understand where they're coming from and all of that stuff before you got on the call. So you want to look professional. You want to make sure you're not wasting a lot of time. You want to make sure that you have different links for the different types of calls that you have so you can ask the specific questions and be prepared, okay? Then what I would recommend is you would also want to take the booking calendar and embed it into a web page so that it looks designed. It looks nice, right? You guys know I'm not fancy. I don't care about fancy funnels, but when you're doing your book call page, it's nice for that to have a web page behind it. So it's not just a calendar. So put it into a web page, make sure you embed it, have a VA help you, have someone do it if you don't know how. And that way you can design that page, right? And that page will give you a bit of an opportunity to put a picture of yourself, to put a little bio, to put, a couple of extra things. You might put some testimonials on that page, depending on what type of page it is, right? So you want to make sure that you have a nicely designed, it doesn't have to be over the top and it doesn't need to be crazy fancy, but simply designed page so that it looks good and that you have a chance to use a little more real estate to tell people about you, and what you do and how you help and all of that good stuff. Then the last piece when you're using the call booking links that doesn't really happen when you're trying to do this manually is that you actually can create auto reminders. So again, depends what software you're using. You might have to integrate something and stuff like that. We use FEA Create. And in there, you can actually book the calls. You can embed the calendar right inside of your webpage. You can go ahead and get those calls booked, and then there's going to be automated emails. And so when you automate those emails, you want to send out one right away that's saying, hey, congratulations, you booked your XYZ call. It's going to be on this day at this time. You're meeting with so-and-so, whatever it is, right? And make sure that they know that it went through and it worked and all of that. So there's going to be an immediate email. Then you're also going to want to send one out, you're going to set it to send out 24 hours before, and then usually an hour before. Now you can also send texts. So depending again on your software and what level of the software you have, paying, not paying, all that kind of stuff, you can also send text messages, which has been super, super helpful to increase show rates. So often people are not checking their emails all the time, but they are definitely checking their texts. So this way you can actually send them the link directly to the Zoom meeting link so they can join your call right away. So you have all these options for auto reminders for how often you send them, how many there are, how close to the appointment you send them, but all of that stuff is automated, so you don't need to worry about it. I always do think it's nice to send a message to somebody, a DM to somebody right before the call to just say, hey, I know that you've gotten an email already, but just wanted to make it super easy for you. Here's the link to join the call. And I like to send them a DM. So you can totally do that as well. But at least you know for sure that you have this automation up and running. So they've confirmed the call, they've gotten a 24-hour reminder, and they've also gotten an hour before reminder. So these are just a few things that you can do to eliminate so much wasted time, right? Imagine if you were going back and forth with every person you need to book a sales call with, every client you need to book a call with, right? Every person that you were trying to connect with to get to know so that you could network and grow that space. That would be a lot of back and forth, right? A lot of waiting, a lot of checking your schedule, a lot of trying to move things around. Let's make it simple, right? And then the other piece is, when you create this schedule, you can actually create it so that you only take certain types of calls at certain times. So for example, if I was doing coffee chats, maybe I only do coffee chats on Thursdays between 10 and 12. And then I have sales calls on Mondays and Wednesdays between 5 and 8 p.m., right? So you can set it so that you have certain types of calls at certain times. So that way you're not switching back and forth from a sales call to a coffee chat to a client call to a kickoff call, right? This way, what you're actually able to do is go, okay, I'm going to do client calls only today. So maybe you allow one kickoff call because it's maybe 60 or 90 minutes and 2 back pocket calls. So in a time frame between 2 and 5, there's room for 3 or 4 calls max, right? And then you set your calendars for your sales calls. Like I said, maybe it's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, whatever you want to do, but you have certain times for certain calls. So this is also helping your schedule, which is also keeping you really clear and making sure that you're not jumping around all the time, wasting energy, which in the end wastes time, right? I want you guys to be able to block these things off in your calendars, just like we talked about yesterday when you're planning your perfectly planned week. You want to make sure you have certain blocks for certain types of calls so that you're staying focused, you're staying in that lane, you're doing that thing over and over again in that block of time. That's really going to save you a ton of energy and be able to help you be more productive in the times that you are working so that we don't have to be working a million hours. Imagine if you had more clarity, more focus, you knew exactly what you were doing. You weren't trying to scramble all over and change what you were doing every single time you got on a call. And you were able to instead block off those hours, know exactly what you're working on and when, save that energy and be super productive when you are in work mode. Okay, imagine what a game changer that would be. These are some of the key things that I did to make sure that I could build a $100,000 business in less than 30 hours a week, right? Super intentional, super clear about where my energy is being spent, making sure that I'm not changing what I'm doing all day long. This stuff is so, so important if you want to work fewer hours and make more money. And as you grow, as you scale, you're not going to be able to do things manually anymore, right? You're not going to send manual reminders. You're not going to send, manual emails that say, oh, hey, I saw you booked a call, right? You're not going to do all of that stuff. So you want to make sure that you are making decisions based on where you want to be and not where you are. And that means setting up basic automations like a call booking calendar and doing one for all the different types of calls that you have. So that is it for today. That is the chunk. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that this resonated. I hope that it turned a light bulb on where you went, oh yeah, I bet if I did that, I would save myself a good couple hours, at least a week, if not more, right? Probably more like 5 or 6, especially the more calls that you get. So I hope this was helpful. Guys, I'm going to be back again tomorrow for day 3, 10:30 a.m. Eastern as planned. And then on Thursday, we'll be on at 12 and then back at 10:30 on Friday. So if you guys have questions, if you have comments, if you have feedback, anything, you can either comment below, make sure you tag me, or you can send me a DM. If you want to talk about this stuff further, I'm going to leave our call booking link below so that you can get on a quick chat with us. We can talk a little bit about all this strategy around, being more productive and making use of your time and all of that good stuff. And we hope to see you guys back tomorrow at 10:30. Have an amazing day, and we'll see you then.